All right, we're out at the job site, and we're going to show you one of the ways that we install our windows, one of the proper ways to install the window. As you can see here, we have an old aluminum window that needs to come out, and on this window was put in with a nail flange. And the nail flange is behind the siding. It's very important that we put the new window in also with a nail flange. So in order to expose this nail flange, we're going to have to cut away our siding, and the new window will go in with new trim on it. Okay, so here we've already gone ahead and cut away the siding to expose the nail flange of the old window. Now we're at a point where we can extract this window out of the wall, and then we'll take you down here to our next opening, and where you can see we've got the window completely out, and we're ready to put the new window in. Okay, so it's very important that the new window is put in with this nail flange intact, because this nail flange will act as a wind and water barrier, preventing any moisture from getting into your wall. Now, there's a lot of window companies that will elect to cut this flange off because it's just a lot cheaper, a lot easier, and a lot quicker to put the window in that way. But if you do that, then the only thing that is protecting your house from the weather is a bead of caulk. And if that caulking ever cracks on you, then you're going to get water infiltrating into the wall, which is going to rot out your walls and eventually cause some major damage inside. So that is not the proper way to do it. Proper way is to use a nail flange. So before we put this window in, we're going to actually put a bead of caulk right around the rough opening here. And that way our nail flange will seal against that bead of caulk. And that's going to be the first seal that we have installing this window. Once we've got that done and the window is in and it's sealed behind the nail flange, we're going to put a secondary seal on. This is called a window wrap, and it's just a black tar type of wrap that has a sticky back to it. And we're going to go ahead and wrap the nail flange on the outside of the window with this protective window wrap. This is a secondary seal. And then in addition to this, on the very top of the window, we're going to install some flashing. And the flashing is going to actually go right up underneath your siding. And this is very important because we don't want any leakage to happen on the top of your trim. So we're going to put this flashing in up there. That way if any water gets in behind your siding here, it's just going to hit the back of the flashing, and actually that'll be as far as it'll go. So very, very important that that flashing is put in. Now the new windows have a low E glass in them, and it reflects heat. And you can see in just a few minutes that I've been standing here, I'm already starting to sweat because the heat is reflecting off the window so well that it's doing its job. Okay, now once we've got this done, we're going to go ahead and trim out the window. And in this particular case, we're using a 2.5-inch trim. This trim can vary. The minimum that we can use is 1.5 inches. In this particular case, the homeowner wanted 2.5-inch trim, but we can go to 3 or 4 or 5 or however wide a trim that you want. Once the trim is on, we're going to go ahead and put 2 more seals on here. One is we're going to seal between the trim and the siding. We're going to put a sealant there. We're also going to put another bead of sealant between the trim and the window. That way, that'll give us actually 4 exterior seals. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and then the caulking behind the nail flange for number 4. Putting a window in this way will guarantee us that we're not going to ever have any leakage problems, and we guarantee that for life. So if the caulking ever cracks on you or you have any problems with leaking, we will come out and replace that for free for as long as you live in your home. And that's a guarantee that you will not find with many other window installation companies. Alright, we're in the inside of the home now, and I want to show you something that's very important. As you can see, we've got all the furniture covered up with plastic, and all the entertainment center and the pictures and everything's covered up with plastic. Now we're not going to be doing any cutting on the inside, but any time that you're replacing windows, there's going to be a certain amount of construction dust that blows in after you get the hole open. And so it's just important that we cover everything up so that there's no dust that gets into the computers or TVs or stereo equipment. We also line the floor with drop cloths. Everywhere that we're going to walk, we'll have a drop cloth down. And that way we're not dragging in any mud or dirt or sawdust and putting it on your floor. So we take extreme caution in trying to be as clean as we can be and covering up everything before we start the window installation. Alright, I'm standing on the inside of the home, and this is the old window that is in the wall. Now, once we extract this window from outside, we're also going to extract this, what we call a liner, and your interior trim. Because when we put the new window in, it's got a wider frame to it, and this liner is going to have to be cut back. So we're very careful when we take out this liner and trim. We're going to actually cut the paint lines here on both sides of the trim, and we're going to use a special tool to take that out so that we don't scuff up the wall or dent your existing wood, because we're going to cut this back and we're going to put it all back in place. So it's very important that we take it off very, very carefully. And we also, prior to doing this, we're going to wash our hands so that we don't get any fingerprints or anything like that on the liner and the trim. Now over here, we've actually taken the old liner out and the old trim off, and you can see the old window that's in. And while we do this, we'll have a vacuum with us, and we'll vacuum the inside of this opening 2 or 3 or 4 times as we're taking all of this out, just to keep the dust down and the room clean. Alright, now that we've already cut back our liner and we've reinstalled the liner. And of course we're going to caulk here and back here, and so this is our finished product, reusing the existing liners that were originally in the window. Now after this point, we're going to go ahead and reinstall the homeowner's blinds. We're going to go ahead and wash the window on the inside and the outside so that our finished product looks absolutely phenomenal when we walk away from the job site.